Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. We are from Group 8, would like to present about a case study. Before continuing the presentation, I will introduce myself. My name is Iqbal Hakim bin Jamaluddin. This is a member of my groups, LENNY, EDWINA, AZAREEN, AZRA, Muhammad AL-AMIN, AMMAR bin Muhammad SUPIAN, FARIS DANIAL, and FAHIM bin ZULKEPLI.
Okay, next slide is introduction. So, what is an ecological modeling? Ecological modeling is mathematical and computational simulation of ecological system, which represents interactions between organisms and the environment. They are ranged from simple models such as population dynamics to complex landscape useful for understanding ecosystem structure, function, and response to change. It also supports an hypothesis testing and forecasting of ecological outcomes. So, next is a case study overview. Melaleuca kajubuti is a native tree with ecological and economic importance that used in forestry, traditional medicine, and essential oil production. Next is a habitat suitability modeling. Is essential to protect the species from threats like climate change and habitat loss. The MATERANG model is effective for predicting species distribution using presence-only data and environmental variables. The study aims to map suitable habitats for Melaleuca kajubuti and support conservation and restoration planning.
The case study explores how environmental factors and climate change affect the distribution of the gelam tree in Malaysia. This species is important for both ecology and the economy, particularly in coastal regions. The study had two main goals. First, to predict the current and future habitat suitability of the gelam tree in Terengganu, Malaysia, considering climate change scenarios for 2050. Second is to use the MATERANG modeling approach to estimate the species' potential distribution and assess the impact of climate change on its suitable habitats. The study was conducted in the state of Terengganu, located on the east coast of Peninsular Malaysia. This region is characterized by a humid tropical climate and diverse coastal ecosystem. The focus species, Melaleuca kajubuti or gelam tree, is known for its ecological value in stabilizing coastal zone and its importance to local communities, particularly in traditional medicine and wood-based product. As a coastal and wetland species, it is especially vulnerable to environmental changes, making it a suitable candidate for distribution modeling under climate change projection. The MATERANG model was used as the primary tool for species distribution modeling in this study. MATERANG is widely used due to its ability to model species distribution using only presence data without requiring absence information. It works by estimating the most uniform probability distribution of suitable habitat conditions constrained by the known occurrence. The model can handle a wide range of environmental variables, both continuous and categorical, and perform well even with relatively small sample size. Another key strength of MATERANG is its ability to identify and quantify the importance of different environmental factors in determining species spatial distribution, making it especially valuable for conservation planning under climate change scenarios.
Hi, my name is AHMAD Muhammad Alami MATERANG with matrix E22B045. So today I will explain about the type of input data. This study incorporated two main types of the input data: species occurrence and environmental variable. A total of 180 records of the Melaleuca kajubuti were collected during field survey in 2018 and 2019 across Terengganu, Malaysia. To reduce a spatial sample bias and adjust model accuracy, duplicate records located within the grid cell were removed, resulting in 44 unique occurrence points for training the MATERANG model. In addition to the occurrence data, 27 environmental variables were selected based on their potential influence on habitat sustainability. This includes 19 bioclimatic variables from the work-claim database, such as annual mean temperature, precipitation pattern and temperature, seasonality, topography data from the SRTM dataset, and 8 soil-related variables. Soil variables include salinity texture, which influence soil fertility and moisture retention. All spatial layers were processed at 1 km resolution using ArcGIS to ensure compatibility with the Mason algorithm and to reproduce reliable habitat sustainability prediction. Then for the key finding, the Mason model successfully identified the current and future potential distribution of Melaleuca catruputi in Terengganu, revealing significant insight into its habitat preferences and climate vulnerability. Under current climate conditions, only 10.82% of the state land areas was found to be suitable for the species, with 0.96% classified as highly suitable, 2.44% moderately suitable, and 7.42% poorly suitable. These suitable areas are mainly confined to lowland coastal zones, particularly in districts like Sitio Kuala Terengganu and the Sud, where environmental conditions such as sandy BRIS soil, moderate salinity, and consistent monsoonal rainfall prevail. Projections for the year 2050 under 3 climate scenarios show contrasting trends. RCP 4.5 predicted the greatest loss in suitable habitat, approximately 442.1 km², while RCP 2.6 projected an increase of 267.5 km², suggesting that lower emission scenario may support a race expansion. The Marang district was identified as high-risk area with consistent habitat decline across all scenarios, likely due to its sensitivity to climate-induced salinity changes. Conversely, Situ remains a climate-resilient zone, maintaining habitat sustainability in all projections. Key environmental drivers influencing habitat sustainability include the average daily temperature range BIO2, optimal elevation 10 until 30 meters, rainfall during the wettest month BIO13, and soil salinity index 1.6 until 2.6. Additionally, the species favor moderate site level and specific ecology, such as marine clay and peat. Overall, the model highlighted how the species influenced by both climatic and the effect factor and how its suitable range may shift under future climate conditions, providing conservation planning and adaptive land management. Then for the evaluation, one of the strengths of the study was the use of an optimized Mason model that incorporated bias correction and careful tuning on filter and regularization parameters. The model achieved strong performance with a UC variable 0.85 and continuous Boucher index CBI score exceeding 0.93. By integrating both climatic and edaphic variables, the model offers ecologically meaningful results. Furthermore, the inclusion of the future climate scenario provides a valuable insight into how the species may respond under different climate pathways. However, several limitations were not. The absence of land use and land cover data may have led to overestimation of habitat sustainability, particularly in already developed areas. Additionally, soil properties were assumed to remain static over time, potential overlooking impact from the sea level rise and land degradation. The reduction in precision point from 183 to 44, while necessary to address bias, may have limited the spatial detail of prediction. Despite challenges, the study makes an important contribution to conservation planning by identifying situ as unclimate resilient areas suitable for long-term protection, while highlighting regions like Marang as vulnerable zones requiring targeted intervention. The finding emphasized the importance of incorporating climate conditions into ecosystem management and support the development of localized conservation strategies that account for both environmental and human-related threats.
Okay, next, the Maxim model successfully predict the potential distribution of populus invertica in the Hans River Basin using 57 species occurrence point and 29 environmental variables, including climate, soil, photography, and water data. The model show high accuracy 0.994 and identify 820 kilometer square of suitable habitat, mostly located with 7 kilometer of the river bank in the lower basin. Key environmental factor influencing the species distribution were soil moisture, soil organic carbon, groundwater level, and aridity index. The model result closely match actually forest location, proving that machine is highly effective for modeling species distribution in dry region and can support conservation and habitat management effort.
And for map interpretation, we have habitat suitability classification, which is we can see in the map, green is suitable habitat, yellow green marginally suitable habitat, and light green is unsuitable habitat. And for the result interpretation, which is the habitat suitability modeling for populus euphatica in the river basin using medicine. These three mainly found in riparian areas of arid region, and the goal was to predict the suitable habitat area. The habitat suitability index for the medicine model ranged from 0 to 0.93. Uh, Already classified the area into the three groups, which is unsuitable less than 0.3, marginally suitable 0.3 to 0.5, suitable 0.5 and above. The total suitable area is around uh, 820 square kilometer, and areas are mainly found in 7 kilometers from riverbanks, especially in the lower basin near AHMAD. Another 680 square kilometer are marginally suitable and located around the core areas. The Mason model used the 55 occurrence point and 29 environmental variables. It achieved a high accuracy with an AUC of 0.994 for training and 0.989 for testing. The predicted map closely matched the real forest distribution, which show the model is reliable. The main factor that influence the distribution are soil moisture, which is 21%, soil organic carbon 70%, groundwater depth 30%, soil type and aridity index also play the important role. The ideal condition for populus euphatica include the moist soil, organic rich topsoil, shallow groundwater, gentle slope, and cool temperature. And we also and also the model, the comparison of with other model. The T1 model, which use only climate data, overestimated the suitable area. The T2 model added more variable and was more accurate but still not perfect. Only Mason produced a result that matches the actual distribution. And the conclusion And in conclusion, using medicine with detailed location environmental data give the best result. This modeling help understand where populus herpetica can grow and useful for conservation land planning and ecosystem restoration in dry river basin.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Muhammad Faris Muhammad KASWADY. I will continue this presentation with the implication of the species distribution model, result for conservation and management of Populus pratica in Hehe River Basin. First, the model identified around 820 square kilometers of highly suitable habitat, mostly within 7 kilometers of the riverbanks. This means that this zone should be prioritized for legal protection and restoration. Protecting these areas can help preserve riparian forest structure and biodiversity. Second is water availability plays a critical role. The most important environmental variables were soil moisture and groundwater depth.
This highlights that sustainable water management is essential, especially through ecological water division projects. The third one is the model reveals potential areas for reforestation. Even marginal suitable zones could become viable habitats with better conditions. So, restoration programs should target areas with the right soil and water characteristics based on model prediction. The fourth is the model helps us adapt to the climate change. It uses climate related variables like aridity index and even transpiration. This can help predict future changes and identify areas that may remain suitable under future conditions. And finally, the height model with an AUC value of 0.994 makes it a reliable tool for decision making. The outputs can support zoning, land use planning, and even community educations, and it also can help engage local stakeholders in forest protection. In conclusion, the Max ANT model is more than just a predictive tool. It provides practical, science-based guidance for protecting and managing Populus euphatica in one of the China's most fragile arid ecosystems. That's all from me. Thank you.
Hi, my name is LENNY anak LIBAU. My metric number is E22A0192. Today I want to talk about the thing that we learn from ecological modeling. First, understanding species distribution models, SDMS. SDMS, like Maxson, help predict species distribution by analyzing environmental factors. We learn how these models simulate species-environment interaction and how climate change can shift this interaction. SDMS are essential for making informed decisions in conservation and biodiversity management. Second, climate change scenario. We predict Geelang's tree habitats suitability for 250 under different climate scenarios. This helps us understand how climate change, such as temperature and precipitation shift, can impact species habitats and biodiversity, which is crucial for effective conservation planning. Maxson model application. We use the Maxson model to predict species distribution based on data. This taught us how to prepare data, select parameters, and interpret results, allowing us to understand how species respond to environmental change and helping prioritize conservation efforts. Data interpretation and analysis. Interpreting the output of the Maxson model is key to ensuring reliability. We learn how comparing current and future habitat maps help predict how climate change will affect species and ensure the accuracy of our conservation decisions. Impact on conservation and management. Our analysis show how SDMS can guide conservation by identifying areas where Geelang trees will thrive or face challenges. This insight helps allocate resources effectively for reforestation and habitat protection. And the last one is application in local context. By focus on Terengganu, we learn that using local environmental data is better for encourage species distribution prediction. This emphasizes the importance of region-specific data in real-world conservation strategies. In conclusion, SDMS play a crucial role in predicting species distribution and informing conservation strategies. They help us to make data-driven decisions to protect species in the face of climate change. Thank you.
Hi, my name is EDWINA LEAVIANNEY MAIEDWINE with number metric E22A0084. species distribution models are increasingly crucial in understanding and predicting biodiversity patterns in the context of climate change, habitat loss, and other ecological restores. SDM use environmental variables such as temperature, precipitation, and land use to model and predict the distribution of species across geographic areas. First of all, SDM are instrumental in predicting how species may shift their geographical range in response to climate change. As global temperature rises, many species may migrate to cooler and more portable habitats. SDM helps identify the area where species are likely to thrive or face extinction, allowing the proactive conservation effort. Through the successful case study, SDM has been used to model the potential range shift of species like the European brown bear. In the field of conservation and biodiversity management, SDM for identifying priority areas for conservation, particularly in phase of habitat degradation and fragmentation. By predicting the location of vulnerable species, SDM helps conservationists allocate the resources effectively, focusing on the areas with the highest biodiversity values or those most threatened by human activities. Also, it applies in the design of protected areas for species like the snow leopard. With the innovation of rapid machine learning and remote sensing method, the future of SDM looked promising. Satellite data and high-resolution environmental data are also complementing SDM by providing more accurate information about landscape and climate variables that are essential to model species distribution in increasingly complex environments. For example, the integration of remote sensing data within the species distribution models has improved the prediction of forest ecosystem sustainability for species like the red squirrel in North European, which is the crucial for fragmented habitat management. Other than that, SDM is the backbone of ecological niche research, which is the specific range of environmental that a species must have to reproduce and live. New method in SDM has enhanced the precision and predictive performance of SDM through the utilization of more advanced environmental predictors and accounting for biotic interaction.
I will be discussing on potential future research direction related to Melaleuca Kajau Putih. Let's take a closer look at the key aspect where further studies could have a significant impact. First is assessment of ecosystem services. First, we could explore the ecosystem services provided by Melaleuca Kajau Putih, which include coastal protection, carbon storage, and supporting biodiversity. These are crucial services that help maintain the ecological balance in coastal zones. Future research could focus on measuring the extent of these services, which would not only underline the ecological value of this species but also provide solid argument for its conservation. By quantifying its benefit, we can better highlight the importance of preserving Melaleuca Kajau Putih and its habitat. Second is collaboration with local community and stakeholders. Another critical focus for future research is collaboration with local communities and stakeholders. Engaging groups like farmers, fishermen, and conservation organizations in the conservation process will be essential for effective habitat protection. These stakeholders can bring valuable local knowledge and insight which can help shape management strategies that are scientifically sound as well as socially and economically viable. Future studies could explore how to work together with these communities to develop conservation strategies that are both practical and beneficial for everyone involved. Third is long-term ecological monitoring and restoration. Looking ahead, long-term ecological monitoring will play a key role in ensuring the sustainability of Melaleuca Kajau Putih population. Specific sites such as the Setiu district could be monitored to track the changes in habitat suitability, especially under the pressure of climate change. Additionally, active restoration effort may be necessary to restore damaged habitat. This could include managing soil salinity and rehabilitating coastal ecosystem. By strengthening the resilience of Melaleuca Kajau Putih, we can help ensure the species thrive in the face of changing environmental conditions. Lastly is integration of ecological and biotic interaction. Lastly, while much of the current research focuses on abiotic factors like temperature, precipitation, and soil salinity, future studies could also take into account biotic interaction. This includes understanding how species interact with each other, such as competition for resources, predation, and herbivory. This interaction can have a significant impact on the distribution of success of Melaleuca Kajau Putih. Future research should look into this aspect, and how they influence the establishment of these species, ultimately improving our understanding of what affect its habitat suitability.
For the conclusion, ecological modeling, like mentioned, help predict where species can live now and in future, especially under climate change. In this case study, we model the habitat of Malacca kajubuti or gallam tree in Terengganu using environmental data, climate change, soil and elevation. The model showed that some area like CTU will stay suitable in the future, while other like Marang may become less suitable. This help identify to focus conservation efforts such as reforestation and habitat protection. Species distribution model are very useful to making data-based decision in conservation planning. For future improvement, model should include long-term monitoring ecosystem service and species interaction. Overall, ecological modeling is powerful tool for protecting biodiversity and managing the environmental effectively.